Okay, our new topic is Excel macros. What are Excel macros? These are methods through which we record uh, steps or specific tasks in Excel, and we then reapply those steps. Specifically, if your task is repetitive in nature, macros can be very useful. So, let's say someone gives you a very boring task that you have to color this first cell is black and the second one is green, then third one black, then fourth one green, then fifth one black, sixth one green. So this pattern is repeated and you have to do this 50,000 times. So this is just one example. We can come up with more useful example, but we'll start with this one because this one can give us a very quick start to understanding macros. Before going into the details of macro, first sure that in the menus you have a menu called developer. Right now we don't have a menu that is developer. So for Excel macros, first of all we have to enable the developer tab. So let's say right now I don't see any menu for developer. So go to file and go to options, then customize ribbon, and on the customize ribbon you will see that the developer tab is unchecked. Check it and OK. So now we have a developer tab which gives a quick access to recording macros and using macros. There are two types of macros. Most of the time we use the first type, that is relative reference. Relative macro is a macro that can be recorded in one place and applied in another place. So recorded in one place and can be applied in another place. There is another type of macro, absolute macro, which is recorded and applied in the same place. Recorded and applied to the same cell reference or location. So if we have taken some steps in cell A1 and recorded them and we want to apply those steps again, the application will be again in the same cell. Now for our example, we have to make sure that the relative macro is enabled. By default, absolute macro is enabled. So how do we enable a relative macro? Here I am clicking on this option, use relative reference. When I click on that, it becomes darker, so it grays. The gray area becomes visible. If I click again, so I'm now going back to absolute macro. So make sure that you click once, and once you have clicked, make sure that the color has changed from the previous gray to a darker gray or to some sort of green color. In different Excel versions, the color might be different. Okay, the first step, before recording the macro, you should be very well sure where the active cell should be. So the active cell right now is cell A1. We will be recording our macro from cell A1 up to cell A2. Once we want to apply it, we have to make sure that at the time of application where the active cell should be. So we started from here and reached here. At the time of application, the cursor should be on cell 3. So these are the steps that we will be taking through this macro. Step number 1, active cell should be A1 before starting the recording. उसके बाद we apply black background to A1. Step 3, apply a green background to A2, and this is also part of the macro recording. Activate cell A3. This specific part is important because when we apply it, the target cell is already selected. If it is not part of the macro, then we have to manually select it, and your macro will not move forward. Each time when you want to apply, you have to manually select the next cell. So if you want to make it part of the macro recording, that the next cell is automatically selected for application. So now I'm going to start a macro and applying these 4 steps. So I'm going to click on this record macro button. Always give some useful name to macro, and there should be no space in the macro name. So I'm giving a name of color background, and I'm also assigning a shortcut key which will be applied with the control plus. So the shortcut that I'm assigning is Q. You can assign any button that is not actively assigned to Excel functions. For example, control C is for copy. If you use control C for macro, so the control C function is overwritten, and it will record a macro, apply a macro instead of copying the data. So always assign a button that you think is not useful for you in the Excel background. So we are recording a macro. It has a name of color background, and it can be applied by pressing Control Q. Okay, and we made the first mistake. The first mistake was the active cell should be A1 at the time of creating the macro. My active cell is D11, which is not A1. So this is my mistake. I'm stopping my macro, stop recording, and if I go to macros, I will delete this macro. So the color background macro is removed. Yes, I will remove it. So according to the first step, my active cell should be A1. I've activated it. Now I go to record a macro. I give it a name of color background, and I'm giving a shortcut of Control Q. Okay. Now step 2, we apply black background to A1. So from the home button, we go to the fill bucket and apply the black background to it. On the next cell, apply a green background. So I am applying a big background, and on the fourth cell, on the fourth step, activate cell A3. So I have activated it. If you forget this fourth step, which often people do, and they say my macro is not moving forward, so remember this fourth step is important. Before closing the macro, you should know where the cursor should be. Now it is time to stop the macro, so I'm going to the developer tab and I'm stopping the macro. So let's see what happens when I press Ctrl Q. Ctrl Q, Ctrl Q, Ctrl Q, Ctrl Q. Okay, so I'm doing it manually and the color is applied. We can do some bit of coding for it. We say do this for the next 1000 cells. So there comes the part of loop. But before going to loop, I would like that I'll take a pause of 2-3 minutes to this, so that you think over the process of macro, and if you want to apply it, and then I'll apply a loop to this specific macro, so that the specific recorded steps are applied 1000 times. So our actual target was to apply all these formattings to, let's say, a range of 50,000. I would make it less ambitious, and let's say we apply this to up to 1000 cells. So how do we do that? So if we press Alt button and F11 button together at the same time, you will see a screen like this. This is the VBA, Visual Basic Programming environment, where we can write code and that will be applied to the Excel environment. So once you press Alt F11, you can reach this screen. Another way is to directly edit the macro which you have recorded. So if I close this screen and I go to developer tab and I click on the macro, I will see my recorded macro. Select that macro and click on edit. It will again take you back to the same screen, but this time with the code that we had recorded. Okay, unfortunately I've tried a lot, but I cannot increase the size of the font. If I have any option for that, there is no option for increasing size of the font. Do we have any option in the view? No. So quickly, if someone can search on the internet and find a way to increase the font size on this screen, because I think it will be difficult for you to see the font. Okay, now the macro that we recorded, the VBA code starts for that with a specific word sub, that is sub, and this code ends with end sub. So a macro or a piece of code in VBA starts with sub and ends with sub. So the actual code starts with the with selection dot interior per pattern, etc., etc., and the selected text perform those 4 tasks that I had written here. Actually, activate cell was not part of it. We had activated cell A1 before the macro, so it is not part of the code, but these 3 parts are part of the code. So we applied black background, and it's you can roughly read the code for this. This is for the black background code. Then what next we did, we then moved on to A2. So for A2 the code is active cell offset. So we offset means that we went 1 cell down. So this is the second task. And then to the active cell we applied a green pattern. This was the third part. And the fourth part, from the active cell we moved down 1 cell. So actually this is the code that the Visual Basic recorded while we were performing those steps, and collectively all these steps are called as macro. Okay, now what do we want to do with this code? What I want to do is to repeat the application of this code for 1000 cells. So we shall use a for loop. Remember the for loop in the Python environment? Something like that is also available in any language. So the for loop in the Visual Basic environment has a structure of this for, and then you define the variable. The variable can be anything. You can say it is I, it is Z, it is, let's say our variable is who is our variable? Let's call this variable one of our student, Nasser, let's say. So for Nasser is equal to 1 up to 1000. So up to symbol, this specific slash is used in status. I am used to it, so I am using slash. In Visual Basic we use 2. So for Nasser is equal to 1 up to 1000, means that this specific code should be repeated 1000 times. And then we type next Nasser. So whatever variable you had used, we change its value at the end. So this is the modification that we did to the code. What did we do? We typed for Nasser equal to 1 to 1000, means Nasser is a variable that will take the value of 1 and it will increase by 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 1000. And in between whatever code is there, it will be repeated. Once the value of Nasser is 1, then it will be repeated again. Once the value of Nasser is 2, repeated again. So it means this specific code will be repeated 1000 times. So once the code completes, Nasser assumes a next value. So I am copying this text from here back to Visual Basic, Excel, Visual Basic. So selecting everything, Control V. Okay, and that's it. So now I'll save. Remember, if you have a macro in your Excel sheet, you have to save the Excel sheet as a macro enabled sheet. So from here, Excel workbook, I'll click on this and enable the pull down menu. Excel macro enabled worksheet should be the selected option, and the extension changes from XLSX to XLSM. So this is the difference. Now this sheet will save Excel macros. If you have macros and you save it as XLS, the macros are not saved and they are lost once you have closed the session. So it is important. So I save it. Now this specific macro is part of the Excel sheet. It will be there when we open it again. So click that, and then now let's see what happens. Click on this cell and macro, select the macro and run it. So now you see the specific circle shows that it is in process, and it is applying that macro 1000 times. Since the macro moves 2 cell down, so 1000 means that we have affected 2000 rows. So see this. This was one example of using a macro and then repeating the same task over and again. Let me give you some examples of where macros can be used usefully. So I'll go to this website called, let me get the website address. Where is it? Yeah, this one. And the name of the website is funnytrumpexcel.com, and it has some useful macros which you can copy and use them. So let's use few of these macros. If you search Excel macro examples, 24 macro examples, so it will give you this page, or I'm just copying the Excel the website link and pasting it in the chat room so that you can quickly get the okay. So let's say there is a macro hide all worksheet except the active sheet. So how this macro can be used? So what I'm doing, I'm selecting all this text, copy it, and we go to the environment. So Alt F11, okay, and I'm pasting this specific text. Remember, prime symbol is used for comments, and also remember that sub is used for starting a macro and sub is used for ending a macro, and in between there is a code that will hide all Excel sheets on that. I close this line. So how many sheets do we have? Sheet 1, sheet 3, exercise 3 and sheet 4. So this macro does what? It hides all the existing sheets except the active one. So where is this macro? We go to the macro, and the name of the macro was hide all Excel sheet. Select this macro and run it. So now you see all the Excel sheets have been hidden, and manually we can unhide them. Unhide sheet 2, unhide sheet 3 exercise, unhide sheet 3 and unhide sheet 1. So if we are on sheet 4 and I run this macro again, those sheets are hidden in one go. So it's a small bit of programming that a lot of tasks can be done in one click. This is the main purpose of macro. So this is an absolute macro. Actually we are not moving from one cell to another, so you can call this one hide all active sheet as absolute macro. You see all sheets are hidden. There is another macro that will unhide all sheets. unhide all sheets. So again select this code, copy, and how do we go to the Visual Basic environment? Alt button and F11 button together, and Excel will automatically add a line once one macro ends, another starts. So you see a horizontal line across the sheet, and you don't have to do anything, just close this and now go to macros, unhide all worksheet. Automatically this macro is added once the code is there. Run it. So now you see all the sheets are again unhidden. And if you have a specific task to do and you find a macro, in these examples we just learned how we copy the code and where we put it so that it is there for us for use. We just copy the code, open the Visual Basic editor, and we enter the code there. Sometime when you open the Visual Basic editor, you are presented with an empty screen. If that happens, if you haven't recorded any macro before, so you are presented with an empty screen. So in that case, you should go to insert and insert module. So it will give you this white blank sheet where you can paste your code. So it is up to you. If you have already recorded a macro, there will be module 1 where all the macros are recorded. But if you haven't recorded and there is no module, so then you go to insert and insert module, and then you are given the chance to enter your code. From there you can do that. And there are lots of useful macros on the internet, each one performing a different task. For example, hide all worksheet, sort worksheet alphabetically, ये भी possible है. Protect all worksheet at one go, it is possible. Protect all worksheet at one go, etc., etc. Okay, there is also another fun part to it. So you can actually create buttons for performing this task. So we have two macros, one that hides all worksheet, another one that unhides. So let's create some button for them. So go to the insert and select a shape. Let's get some shape, and on the shape I'm drawing, and double click on that. Double click will enable editing. So let's put some text to that. Hide sheets, and okay. Now we can convert this button into a clickable button. So right click on that and assign a macro, and on the now assign the relevant macro. So the hide all sheet macro will be assigned to it. Okay, now click outside this button, and when you bring the mouse over it, now it is clickable. So click on that, and now the macro is applied. Similarly, I'll make a copy of that, copy and paste, bring it here, and now right click, assign a macro and unhide all worksheet. Okay, और इसके साथ हम लिख लेते हैं unhide all sheets. When you have to modify the button, remember, do use the right click, because left click will execute the macro. And we also can change the background because it's a shape. So when you click, when you are on a shape, the shape format menu shows. So unhide should be green and height should be somehow red. Okay, so now unhide and hide, unhide and hide. Okay, so those repetitive tasks that you have accumulated in a macro, now all those can be applied with one go, and in fact with one click, by assigning the macro to a button which you can create by inserting it from the shapes menu. So you can create any shape out of these, any shape, and then you right click and assign a macro. Okay, so let me give you one more useful example of macro. So assume that you are working in a corporation and you have to print certain data for people. So you just enter the registration number, and all their detail comes on one page, and then you have a click button print, and it will print that area. In fact, one student asked me how we can automate the printing of checks, that we have to write 300 checks each month, and we then give those checks to our employees. So in checks, we write the name of the person, amount, we write amount in words, and we write dates. So those things are very sensitive. Specifically, if you make a small mistakes in these, the banks will not accept it. So what if we automate this process using a macro? So we don't have to write these things. Rather, the macro picks the data from relevant Excel sheet and then prints the check. We just put the checks inside a printer, and it automatically picks the data and prints the check. So how that is possible? So for that, if we go to our website, and let's see, we have some so this specific Excel sheet is available in lecture 23 macro 3, the first download link. Right click on that and save link, and let's save it and open this Excel sheet. Okay, so let's say we have lots of employees. We have how many? 273 employees, and we calculate their salaries in one Excel sheet. Each employee has a registration number, employee number, name of the employee, and salary of the employee. So first of all, we want to print check for Nur Rahman. The amount that we shall pay is 200,000, and this show, once his data is printed out on a check, then we go to Ishaq Ali, then Akhtar Saeed Khan, then Waqar Ali Khan, etc., etc. So first of all, we have to do some trial and error and come up with a print area that is equivalent to the size of the check that the bank has. So how do we specify a print area? This specific view is called print preview. If I go to the view and I click on the normal, so it is shown like this. And if I go to page layout and go to print area and I clear the print area, so now this whole sheet is printed out. If I restrict a specific area for printing purposes, so I want to print only this much area and not all sheet, so I first select this area and go to print area and click on set print area. Now this area is printed out. There is a marker around this area, or more clearly you can see which area of this specific sheet will be printed. So go to the view menu and click on the page break preview. So the page break preview will show which specific area of this sheet will be printed and the rest will be ignored. So actually this specific area will be selected keeping in view the size of the check that you have from your bank. So this happens with some trial and error. Okay, so I'm going to normal mode so that I don't see the page 1 on this. This is the normal mode. What I would like to is print the name of the person here. Then I print the amount in words. Then I print the amount, and then I get the current date. So for current date, there is no need for getting the data from somewhere. Just use the Excel function today. So equal to today. So each time this Excel sheet is opened, the date will automatically be updated and it will show the current date. Account pay only is also not something that varies, so it's a very fixed part, means that the check will have to be deposited in a bank. It cannot be cashed directly. We are left with these three things. So how do we get the first person name here, Nur Rahman? So it's a matter of VLOOKUP. So let's say we assign this whole table. This is our source table. So we give it some name, Control Shift Down. This is a trick with which you can select all the data on the Excel sheet. So Control Shift Down, it will select data until there is an empty row or empty cell. So I am giving this specific sheet a name of salaries, SALRIS, and enter. Just like before, we provided name to the data table. Okay, and outside the print area, I'll make some text. Enter employee number. So in this cell, we are asking the person to enter employee number. So if we enter employee number 1, what should happen? This name should automatically change. The salary should automatically change. And mind you that I have written enter employee outside the print area. So if you go to the page break preview, this is outside, so it will not be shown in the print. So this should be kept in mind. Okay, so we look up for what? So we are looking for employee number. Where? In the salaries. Actually, let me increase the font size so that there is no problem for you. Equal to VLOOKUP. Looking for what? Looking for employee number. Where? In the salaries table, comma. From which column do we want to fetch data? It is column number 2, and the search should be exact. Enter. So now we get the correct name, because on registration 1 the name of the person is Nur Rahman. Now we need to get the salaries for Nur Rahman. So equal to VLOOKUP. Looking for what? For registration number. Where? In the salaries table. Which column? Column 3, and the search should be exact. So his salary is 200 and this and this. and the specific format that you are getting double equal to this slash this is the formatting that has been applied. If you go to format cell, so you can get the number format in different ways. So this is the format which has been applied to this specific cell. Okay, now let's try this for second person. So Ishaq Ali 2,30,000 for employee number 3. It is Akhtar Saeed 2,01,000. One last part is the how do we spell this specific number. So there is no specific function for it in Excel. Actually, what we can do is to search for such function. Somebody must have written it on the internet. So let's search for spell number Excel, and the first search result contains some data. So it says again the same method. It tells us Alt F11 and then insert a module and then click select all this text. This is the code for and until we get the end function. So copy, we go to Excel, Alt F11, we'll insert a new module. Actually you should know that this one has opened for which Excel. We should be using because this code was typed in another Excel sheet, which I should now close so that we do not get confused. Okay, so on this sheet Alt F11, so we are presented with no module at this time. I'm going to insert module and then paste the code. Here there is an error. If sometime this happens, just delete some spaces. Okay, so we have error here as well. Okay, it should be when there is a slash. Actually underscore means continuation, so if it is there is underscore, it should be on the other cell. Let's see, we don't have any other error, so we don't have any other error. And it again asks you want to convert this as a macro enabled, so yes. Okay, so now let's see. The function was spell number and we want to spell this number and we get the number, and that is very encouraging as we have all the data required for printing this check. Now if I type 1, so we pay $200,805.31. If I type 2, so there is only one last part that we do not want to change this number manually, rather we want this to change through a macro. So in Excel, in Visual Basic, the cell reference is a little bit different. So now let's go to Visual Basic again. Let's count where do we stand. This is row number 13. Okay, row 13, column number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this specific cell has a reference of In Visual Basic we type it like the 13 comma column 1 2 3 4 5 column 5. So the cell reference is 13 comma 5. This is the cell reference. So what do we want to do? We want to get the value of this cell reference. So we will type dot value. What do we want to do with this value? We say that this value cells 13 comma 5 dot value should increase by 1. Cells. So what does this code actually imply? It implies that 13.5 yani row 13 column 5 dot value, whatever value of this cell is, add 1 to that. So we can now write a macro for that. So let's create a macro for this. How do we create a macro? Let's go to the top of the screen and insert a new module. Insert module. How do we type a macro? Sub, and I'm giving it a name of add1 with brackets and enter. So automatically it has ended the macro for me. Now I type the code. Let me type the code in this editor so that it is visible. Sub, the name of the macro, add1, bracket open, bracket close, enter, and sub. This is the code to start and end a macro. In between we type the code. So cells 13 comma 5 dot value is equal to cells 13 comma 5, actually should be 13 comma value plus 1. So once this macro is run, the cell value should increase by 1. So this is our macro, and let's close it and let's create a button for this. So insert, where are shapes? These are shapes, yes. Add this one. Let's create a button and give this button some text. Print next check. Okay. Print next check. Give it some aesthetically pleasing. Okay. So this is our button. So right click, assign macro, and we are going to select the add1. So let's see what happens. It becomes 3 and the data changes. 4, the data changes. 5, data changes, etc. Okay. So at this moment we are just getting the data, but we are not printing it. So one last step is to go to developer, record a macro, and call it a name. Give this a name of print check, and okay. In this macro we are not going to do anything special. We just open this macro, go to file, and print. Whatever printer you have, use that and print. So it will be printed. Since I don't have a printer, it saves the data to a file. So let me give it a name. Okay. And now I stop my recording. In this macro, what we just did is to create a macro, print the current sheet, and then stop it. So let's go to this specific macro, Alt F11, and the print check was recorded in module 3. Don't worry, whatever module it is written into, you don't have to worry about that. So what I am doing, the code that we had written, this one, I can either copy this code and add this to the print macro. This is the first method. Once the print is done, we increment the cell value by 1. One method is this. So this code prints the current area. This code adds to the cell value, so it increases by 1 and it fetches next data. So this is the first method. And now let's see what happens. So if I click on this, right now we are on employee 28. So first of all, it will print. Okay, so it increased. Actually, we have to associate this button to the print macro. Right click and print check. Now in the print check, there are two codes. One code that prints the check and second code that increments the value by 1. Now see, it goes to the print. Let's give it a name 4, and now it incremented the value and the next value is ready for printing. So print, give it some name, and it goes to 31. And if you want to, let's create another button and give it a name of print 5 checks at the same time. So Alt F11, and I copy this whole code, copy and paste, and I give this print check. Instead of print check, I say print check 5, and I use a for loop. So for somebody complained that why not my name, why it was Nasser name. So let's say for Varda is equal to 1 to 5. Okay, there is A, and at the end next Varda. So we have another macro, right click, assign macro, and now issue the print check 5. Now if you want to print just one check, click on this button. If you want to check 5, so click on this one. So 1, it will ask for the next one, and then it will ask for the next one, and next one, and next one. So 5 prints were checked at the same time. Now you see, a little bit of programming can make your Excel experience wonderful. We are going to have some break and then we'll come back.